Right then, for the Rivnut. Don't know if this is in shot, but let's try and show you what I've got. I've got an M4 Rivnut. I've got an M4 bolt. I've got an oversized washer to go behind the head of that. I've got a couple of oversized nuts because we're going to drive the head of the bolt and not the nuts. You can do it where you wind the nuts down, or you can do it this way. Then we've got this bar just for me to hold on to and put spread the pressure on the panel. The Rivnut will go on the end and that will go through the hole. The spanner will just go over these nuts just to help hold everything still and get them on there. So I'll just be holding that like that, and then I will drive the top of this, which will pull the threads through the Rivnut. And when it can't go anymore, the Rivnut will start squashing up, and then the little lines on the Rivnut should bite into the metal. So you can obviously do it with a wrench or whatever. I'm going to use this. Let's give it a try. And on the inside you can see it's swollen up, bitten into the metal. We have so I shall get on installing the rest of those, where it's inside this and you don't have any access to the rear, you can still use it, and down here as well where it's right down in the bottom of the pocket. Yeah, again, they're very difficult to do. So let's finish putting the Rivnuts on this one arch. I'll pop the arch on with the bolts we're going to use and then show you. We've got an arch fitted. Show you closely. So I've just used Allen head, dome head, M4 bolts. You're going to want 12mm if you're not using a seam strip, maybe 15 if you are. This car doesn't have a seam strip, although you could argue that it might look better with one. We'll think about that later, but the beauty of these is they can just be taken off whenever. I'll show you up underneath. There you can see you've got stainless steel sticking out there, so there should be no problem at all. And all four you get good access to on the front. Obviously the bolt and the little piece of metal is not the official tool. This is not necessarily the right method to do this, but if you've only got a few to do and you don't want to buy the Rivnut tool, then you can do it this way. Let me get the other three on, and I'm going to have to think about whether we do the same thing with the grill on the front. Okay. Just show you finished shot then of these. So we've got a little bit of paint into them before we put the Rivnuts in. One under there obviously. So there's 4 there. There's 4 here. And then 4 more. And obviously 4 at the back. You can see slightly procrastinating because I'm obviously flattening all of the paintwork down. You never know, might get it finished, and then it's starting to get a bit warmer, so we might be able to put some primer on it at some point in the not too distant future. But yeah, I'm just trying to pick up on any little jobs that need doing before the paint job is done. We'll see how that goes. Bye.
sheared off in the hole, haven't we? Get yourself some high quality bolts if you're going to use this method. Also, use a long bolt so you can get on the other end of it. I'm going to have to use some mark grips down the hole because it's so tight. Get on the other end and then you can back it out and be able to take it out. And lastly, do it before you fit the skin, because then you can easily access the back. Just use the mole grips to back this out. Fingers crossed. To weaken the Rivnut slightly with little cuts because it's been shearing the bolts, so hopefully this will help the Rivnut pull up more easily. Right, well, at least they're done now, and you can see by how difficult that was being to remove. The Rivnut wasn't really moving, so I think that Rivnut is fine. I've just got a little bit of rubbing, some overspray here, filling and whatever to finish prepping this door. Sound ending is good. And then this door will be done. The other door, get that ready as well. Finish off the endless sanding on the car. Maybe we'll get some paint on over the summer. Still blocking the car. Pretty much getting there now. Just going to give a final sand over. We're going to go down to 240 before primer. Then we'll get it primed. After primer we'll be using 600. So yeah, 120 quick go over, 240 primer, 600. So we'll see how that goes. The other thing I have done, another little cut, I'll show you. So the other thing I have done is made a hole in my wing, that one. Now the reason I've had to make that hole is because this particular car is pre-side repeaters. So you see there's no hole there. Now you can get the panels, as far as I can see, in two forms, either with both holes or with neither hole, and since I didn't want to be filling in the indicator hole, and I'm not going to be fitting indicators because that's not correct for this car, we needed to probably get the panel without the holes, and also the hole that I do need to make is just round. So how did I make that hole? Well, I just put a little bit of masking tape over, got some measurements off some people on the internet, and then I drilled a little pilot hole, and then I used my step drill. So we just stepped down to here where it says I think it's 20 mil, and we just made sure it was wide enough for the indicator to pass through. Just be careful when you are doing this. There's a bit of a slant on the aerial, so the attachment at the bottom of the aerial's got an angle on it, and if you put it too close to the bonnet, then the aerial will be really leaning in towards the window. So hopefully mine's just about okay. If I did it again, I'd probably do it half a centimetre further towards the outside of the car. Just pick up on this curve here a bit more, which will take up, keep the aerial a little bit straighter, but I actually quite like where it is, and it seemed to be correct as per the old wing, which is over here. So where this hole is on this wing, which again I don't know if someone drilled that or if that came pre-stamped. Don't think that's heritage though. So yeah, I'm happy with its position, but just pointing that out. Anyway, time to get on with the blocking on the sandpaper.
Just using this to, you get little spots like this where the sandpaper gets filled up, and then it starts to cause drag marks on the paintwork. So you can just spray it off. And then that gets rid of most of them. Get rid of some of the dust as well to stop it filling up the sandpaper.